What's good, streaming people? Welcome to CBS Sports HQ alongside Jeremy St. Louis. I'm Tommy Tran. You know, folks, Jeremy and I were working Saturday when Damian Lillard wanted a trade out of Portland. I joke that I did most of the work for you because I actually worked the trade.
It's true.
But we're still sitting here on Thursday, Jeremy, and he's yet to be moved.
Yeah, I came in on the night shift. And
I said I did the heavy lifting for you.
It's all taken care of. Yeah, and you know what? I mean, give the Blazers some credit here because General Manager Joe Cronin has said, look, we're going to honor this request, but we're very clear about what we want. We want a superstar package of players and draft picks, and I mean, we're gonna trade him, but it doesn't mean he's going to go where he necessarily wants to go. Management's very clear about that. As I said, hey, it's a business decision for Dame. It's a business decision for us. And if the market comes in with a better offer than anything Miami happens to throw together, well, Dame may have a choice to make. Having gotten to the finals in 2 of the past 4 years, Miami knows they're close, and adding a player like Dame certainly could be a difference maker. So let's discuss what a trade with Miami might look like, might have to look like with NBA writer Bill Ryder. Bill, there are reports you heard off the top of the program that Lillard's agent is going around telling teams, hey, other than Miami, if you're trading for this guy, he's going to be an unhappy player. So give us a realistic scenario that puts Lillard in South Beach.
Well, you said it. Now we're playing games of leverage. Lillard's agent reportedly doing that. I'm told, at least for now, Joe Cronin, who you noted is the GM in Portland, is going to hold fast and make sure he gets the right return. Let's presume that everybody can be happy, that Portland can get the right kind of a return and Damian Lillard can go where we know he wants to go, which is the Miami Heat. It has to be a three-way trade to make some of these contracts work. And I think it looks something like Damian Lillard obviously ended up in Miami and then just a bevy of picks heading to Portland. And then that third team, I think, would be the Nets. Now, if I'm the Nets, I want Tyler Hero. I'm insisting on Caleb Martin over a collection of a couple second-round picks, which one rival GM suggested might be the move if you're the Brooklyn Nets. But you look at that return for Portland, I still look, what you think of Ben Simmons is a question mark depending who you are. In theory, there's upside. That is a lot of first-round picks. That's a lot of pick swaps. That's still probably not nearly enough if you're operating in a vacuum, but we know that Damian Lillard is putting pressure on the organization. So what you're looking at there, Jeremy, might be near the best case scenario if everyone's going to end up happy.
It's going to be very interesting to see how it kind of all plays out and if Dame does get the opportunity to go to Miami. I mean, I admire what Portland's trying to do here. That, you know what, it's a business decision for him, going to be a business decision for us. We're going to do what's best for the franchise, which is obviously what the fans want. Another big-name veteran that wants out of where he is, James Harden, Philly trying to work that through. What about a scenario that gets Harden out of Philly, Bill?
Well, this is going to be tricky. I'm told that the Lillard trade could easily go past the weekend. I'm told that the Harden trade, which is also expected to happen, the same feeling is taking place in Philly that's taking place in Portland, which is a trade is going to happen. And in this case, Daryl Morey, who runs basketball operations for the Sixers, wants to hold fast. But they're not cooperating with James Harden. This isn't exactly arm in arm, everyone's happy. So I think this will take a while. There's a lot of scenarios. Interestingly, Jeremy, I think the one that makes the most sense, at least from Philly's perspective, would involve convincing Damian Lillard to be a Sixer rather than a member of the Heat. Harden wants to be a Clipper. I'm told the Clippers are interested, but you'd have to find some kind of a package, again, that could end up in Portland that would be young players. I think Tyrese Maxey is the obvious example in terms of what the Sixers could send, and then a number of picks that are combined from both the Clippers and the Sixers to Portland if Lillard's going to become a Sixer and Harden becomes a Clipper, and then a lot of other guys would move to make the contracts work. But that's where right now, as I understand it, the Sixers are focused. That team, the Knicks have expressed some interest. There's other teams that have kicked the tires a little bit, but it sounds like the Philly situation and the Harden trade may take even longer than the Lillard trade.
The Dallas Mavericks have done a nice job addressing their areas of need so far this offseason. We've talked about that at length over the course of the past week. Wednesday, they acquired Grant Williams via sign and trade from the Celtics, according to reports, a 3-team deal there. What does the 24-year-old bring to the Mavs here?
I mean, youth, energy, defense, a little more depth, and you're right. Look, I'm a Kyrie Irving skeptic just in terms of his impact on teams, and there's certainly a number of perspectives around the NBA from folks that work in front offices and on coaching staffs. But there's no doubting that their talents. You throw Grant Williams into the mix, you already know what Kyrie can be when he's around, when things are going well. And we've seen Luka Doncic with much lesser players, I would argue, get to the postseason a few seasons ago and make a run to a conference final. So what Williams does is he adds defense. He adds another player who is going to be able to come in and be a contributor. And even though he's young, you're talking about a Celtics team that he comes from that has won a lot of games, has made a finals, was in a conference finals last year, went 7 against the Heat, just won a few weeks ago, a month ago. This is a very nice piece for a Dallas team that has to win now.
Well, and we've talked a lot about the fact that Dallas have so many areas of need to address, not just on the court, but off of it as well. Interesting to see what Williams adds, as you mentioned, multifaceted player that can bring a lot to the team. As part of that deal, the Celtics gain 2 first-round picks. They don't pick in the first round, is what their general manager says. But hey, we have plenty of other picks to use, Bill.
Yeah, the Boston philosophy is really interesting. And I know that in Boston, there's a difference of opinion about, what they've basically done is they brought in Kristaps Porzingis, and they have lost, at least for the near term, both Williams and Marcus Smart to Memphis. And the return is basically what you're looking at in the future. Now, the old Celtics organization, you would have been like, okay, this is going to work out. Danny Ainge knows how to make selections. We haven't really tested Brad Stevens, who's now in charge of basketball operations, has been for a little bit in Boston, in terms of his ability to make these selections and have them work. I know Boston's view is we have 2 superstars in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown who they want to stick around. They love Porzingis. They think they're a competitor, and they feel like these picks, especially with the new CBA, it's hard if you're a team like Boston or any team to really overspend and use money to fill in holes in the years ahead. The CBA gets really difficult, especially starting a year from now. These picks, they think, will help them continue their excellence. The question is, are they as good this upcoming season as they were last year?
Bill, the UEFA Champions League is an in-season European soccer tournament that is revered the world over and available on CBS. I don't need to educate you about the Champions League. You're a Barcelona fan. I've gone at you a number of times off camera about that. But now the NBA is getting in on the action with its own in-season tournament. We're waiting to hear kind of the final details of how it all works, but we do know the Final Four is going to take place in Las Vegas. What else can you tell us at this point about this tournament?
Yeah, this has been the brainchild of Adam Silver for a long time. And before I became a soccer and a Barcelona fan and brought my cursed fandom to Barca, who now just get removed from the Champions League in the group stage every year. Thanks for bringing that up, Jeremy. Even before that, I would be in New York City and I would go out with different folks from the league office, and they were talking about this idea and their belief that it could work. They're extremely excited. You're right. We're going to get more details tomorrow. It's a little convoluted what's going to happen, but according to reports, you're basically going to have regular season games that double as qualification games for this tournament, and then you'll get to Vegas, and these games will mostly count to the regular season until a championship game, and they're hoping, as you noted, like the Champions League, like the Copa del Rey, and for those La Liga fans, like the FA Cup in England, they're hoping that even though it's not a championship in the general sense of the word, it will have a little bit of glitz and a little bit of glory, and they can grow this into an event over the next 3 to 5 years that fans and players really care about.
It's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out. Very exciting for NBA fans, certainly. NBA writer Bill Ryder joining us to discuss some of the major storylines in the NBA and talking about trade packages that may need to be put together. Right. Well, the NBA's Utah Summer League continues tonight, a pair of games. Memphis Grizzlies looking to go 3-0 against the winless Jazz. Thunder and 76ers both 1-1. Utah Summer League, great, but tomorrow night we get the debut of Victor Wembanyama with San Antonio as he goes up against number 2 pick Brandon Miller in the Charlotte Hornets. The Vegas Summer League kicking off with 8 games on Friday.